Hi, and welcome to Beyond Pesticides website, where I, Akela Bracey, Science and Regulatory Manager, will offer a quick walkthrough of some of the key features on our website. Our new resources page contains many elements of Beyond Pesticides work, from lawn and landscape management to safer product use. Beyond Pesticides has got you covered. To access our resource page, click the Resources tab as highlighted above. You can also select a destination from the drop-down menu below, but first we will explore the page itself. As you can see, there are 18 different resources pages that one can access. However, one of our most useful resources on specific chemicals is the pesticides and the gateway on pesticide hazards and safe pesticide management. We will go to the page by clicking on it. The page houses a description of the gateway, which contains fact sheets, toxicity information, and regulatory information about chemicals and pesticide products. The yellow search box that is here on the right allows users to easily find pesticide chemicals or pesticide products or notice any health and environmental effects of various pesticides. Below, we display all pesticide chemicals in the Gateway database. The chemicals that display a bee next to the name are toxic to bees, while chemicals that have a green leaf next to the name are least toxic chemicals and thus have least harmful effects. For an example of a Gateway chemical entry, we'll look at one of the most widely used herbicides, and that is glyphosate. As you can see, there is a bee next to it, which means it is harmful for pollinators. The Gateway entry page includes general information about glyphosate, like access to fact sheets, product names, chemical classes, uses, alternatives that are safer, and our Beyond Pesticides rating. Our rating system stems from the following health and environmental effects. The effects link back to citations, and what you can click on, and it takes you directly to that citation highlighted above. The page also states common weeds that glyphosate is used on, as well as additional information on regulatory status, supporting information from other organizations, and our own organization, as well as different scientific studies about glyphosate exposure and effect. You can return back to the Gateway main page by pressing back to the Gateway. However, we are going to explore a new aspect located under the Gateway umbrella, and that is our herbicide analysis. It is located here. We recently collaborated on a commercial herbicide analysis with Friends of the Earth. This analysis details the chemicals and retailer pesticide products and their health and environmental effects. This page contains a table of contents which outlines relevant sections of the document. The document itself, which is below, details the health and environmental effects of products that are commonly found in Home Depot and Lowe's shelves, and it's displayed in an easy-to-read chart. Furthermore, we offer relevant resources below pertaining to organic and least toxic pest control, as well as relevant herbicide information. Our database also contains more information about the health effects of pesticide exposure through our pesticide-induced disease database. This database is also located under the resource section. We can go to the resources page to access the database, but this time I will select it from the drop-down menu. It is right here, and what I would do is click on it. The database contains over 1,100 plus laboratory studies, and epidemiological studies that highlight how pervasive pesticide exposure is and how impactful it is to our health. Last year, we developed a search engine right here that allows users to easily navigate the articles. And this is what I'm going to demonstrate how to do. One search you can do are general searches. I'm going to take general cancer and endocrine disruption. I want to find articles that are related to these two topics. Once I select the categories I would like, I select done. And then I can choose whether or not I need an and or an or category. So from here, we are going to go with and, because this is our most unique feature. Under or, it would display both articles that are pertaining to cancer or endocrine disruption. However, when I select and press search, it shows us all articles pertaining to both cancer and endocrine disruption from pesticide exposure, which is a unique feature of our database. You can also select health effects from our drop-down menu by hovering over the pesticide-induced disease database and selecting a health effects from here, or you can go to the left-hand side menu and select from any of these. I'm going to do brain and nervous system disorder. As you can see here, there are various sections that house articles pertaining to brain and nervous system disorders. If we go down to Parkinson's disease, it has a quick outline description of how Parkinson's disease is related to pesticide exposure, as well as a multitude of articles that connect pesticide exposure and Parkinson's disease. But because there are a lot of articles in these sections, you can go back to the top of the page and select a different one by going to the right-hand side and going to the arrow and clicking top. And that takes you right back to the beginning. The right-hand side also houses our daily news articles, which are relating to any brain or nervous system disorders updates in relation to pesticide exposure. Now, you may be wondering what products and methods you can use for pest control, if not these toxic pesticides with these various health effects that are listed in our pesticide-induced disease database. Well, that is what our Manage Safe database is for. And it's also found under our resources umbrella right here. And that's where we're going to go to. We access the Manage Safe database that way. And then after, we receive an overview of least toxic pest control in and around the home. You can select a problem pest by choose a pest on the left-hand side or from the drop-down menu. From this web page, you can choose where your pest is located. Is it around the home or around the lawn, landscape, or garden? We include organisms on the list in our database as something that some people find are problematic. So I will choose a pest that is great around the garden, but not so great around the home. One that everyone knows very well, ants. It's located right here. On this page, you will find fact sheets on least toxic control of indoor and outdoor ants, as well as controlling ants around your home. This page also includes identification and in-depth information and problems associated with ants. There's also prevention practices and other in-depth information on prevention practices and monitoring. We also include mechanical controls of ants, biological controls of ants, and least toxic chemical controls of ants, which are a last resort. The page also includes chemicals to avoid that are commonly used to control ants and their associated health and environmental effects. Related to our Manage Safe database is our organic agriculture program. This is located under the Programs tab. And then going down to organic agriculture, you can access the webpage. This webpage advocates for organic agriculture to mitigate exposure to pesticides from those who are buying our food and those who are growing our food. Another important page to keep in mind under the umbrella of organic agriculture is eating with a conscience. It can be found on the left-hand menu or on the drop-down menu under Programs in Organic Agriculture. When going to the Eating with a Conscience page, it gives you an overview of organic foods and how to protect yourself and the environment from toxic pesticide exposure. You're able to choose a food that might be better if bought organic. No, not might, but will. You can select a fruit by clicking the link here. You can also access this database by going to Resources or clicking onto the Resources page and going down to Eating with a Conscience and then choosing a crop. From here, you can see any of the non-organic crops and which pesticides are used in production. Let's choose a popular nut, almonds. As you can see, it offers some background on pesticide use in almonds, some reform in pesticide tolerances on almonds, and their impact on pollinators, as well as associated health effects with chemicals that are commonly used on non-organic almond crops. That's quite a list. You can also view the health and environmental effects of these pesticides used on the 43 most commonly grown crops by clicking the Effects Chart tab. This is a display here showing all of the health and environmental effects versus each non-organic crop and pesticide use. Lastly, the coronavirus pandemic has brought about an increase in disinfectant use without proper education on the harms that these chemicals can cause. Disinfectants are, in fact, pesticides, thus exposure can result in similar health outcomes. That is why we launched our Safer Disinfectants webpage. It can be found under the Resources tab, going down to Safer Disinfectants and Sanitizers, and you can either click Safer Sanitizers and Disinfectants and select Disinfectants and Sanitizers from the left-hand menu or from the drop-down box, as I will do. Once you get to the page, you will offer various fact sheets and various information about safe disinfectants. You should also know that our fact sheet specific to reopening schools tackles the important issue of chemical vulnerability and sensitivity among children who are more vulnerable to the harmful effects. Below, we also offer a chart for disinfectants to look for and disinfectants to avoid. We use all the information on our website to compose regulatory comments to EPA and other government and state agencies. Additionally, we use these resources to work with local communities to establish ordinances and policies around non-toxic alternatives to pesticide use. For more information about our local policy and ordinances, as well as other Beyond Pesticide projects, you can look under our Programs tab, which is here. We want to work with you to promote healthy, toxic-free communities. Feel free to use our website for resources and learn more about our pertinent pesticide programs. Stay tuned for part 2, where we cover non-toxic lawns and landscapes and our local ordinance work. Thank you for participating in the Cultivating Healthy Communities virtual conference. Enjoy.